All right, we're going to talk about a lesson in moral and intellectual development here. All right, so we're going to understand the science, right? The real science, not the science that's on TV that will just, have a whole bunch of claims with no evidence backing it up, right? The real science and moral implications together. All right, true intellectual growth means non-divorcing scientific facts from moral reasoning, right? If a drug has a possible or deficient effect, the public deserves transparent, scientifically accurate information. Hiding or minimizing these facts undermined trust. The principle of informed consent as a moral duty. Informed consent isn't just a legal checkbox; it's a moral imperative. You must do this. It's a moral imperative, right? Giving people and especially these young girls, right? Young girls, clear and honest information that respects their dignity and autonomy. But of course, she's not doing that. She's not respecting their dignity. This young girl is pure and a chaste virgin and all this stuff. She needs to keep her knickers on, right? That's to respect their dignity. But instead, Dr. Dow will be in a predatory fashion. Try to sell her a product. What is the product? Is debauchery, right? She's trying to sell her the product, right? And that is sexual. Um, it's perverse. It's a perverse way that will bring forth either she'll be a single mom or she'll have the mother of a dead child either through early abortion with the the birth control pills. It doesn't prevent the pregnancy, it just causes early abortion, or a literally a surgical abortion, which is barbaric, right? Any kind of person that does this is so far gone in their minds that they will not be brought back, right? Withholding key facts is an intellectual failure and an ethical breach. So what is the key facts? Is that the pill doesn't actually prevent pregnancy, right? It stops the ovulation, and fertilization is possible. The baby boy, baby girl will die because of these pills, because of you, because of Dr. Michelle Dow, right? What you, as in Dr. Michelle Dow, speaking directly to her, like, why would you do this kind of stuff? Like, it's folly. It's the work of a monster, right? What kind of monster does this kind of stuff, right? It's incredible what she's doing, right? Protecting the vulnerable, right? That's a very very good lesson in moral and intellectual development here. Protecting the vulnerable. So morally, society has a duty to protect those unable to fully grasp long-term consequences. Especially these minor girls, right, with developing cognitive capacity, right? Allowing uninformed or underinformed minors to take drugs with life-ending potential is a moral failure, right? Yeah. Protecting the vulnerable, right? Seeing through euphemisms, right? Part of intellectual maturity is learning to question sanitized or vague language that hides ethical realities, preventing implantation versus ending a human life at its earliest stage. So what is preventing implantation? Okay, so let's think a little bit about that. Well, there's a baby, right? There's a baby, and the baby is would have otherwise implanted, perfectly fine into the womb of his or her mother, right? This is what the babies do, right? This is literally their job to do that. Well, now they're preventing, this, the only thing that the birth control pill has prevented the implantation from the blastocyst will fail to implant, right? So this is intellectual maturity here, is to understand, right? This is just the words of a psycho lunatic, right? Preventing implantation. Are you insane? Like, is there anything wrong with your head? And the answer is yes, right? What is wrong with your head? Is there any kind of like, mental illness? No. The thing is that you're evil. You're an evil, evil, evil monster. Calling you a monster is an insult to monsters, right? I should just be real and just, be. It's a lunatic. Only lunatics speak like this, right? These are people that are depraved people, right? Euphemisms can dull moral instincts and weaken societal conscience. Very, very good. All right, so the link between law, culture, and conscience. So laws that allow or fund potentially life-ending interventions without transparency shape the moral compass of society, often for the worse. A mature citizen learns to question whether legality equals morality. Does it really? To question whether legality equals morality, right? Should this? Should we do this, right? Should we actually? Should one, you know, person that went to med school, got a doctorate, be legally permitted to kill 1,000 people, right? And live in a big brick mansion? Is that right? Is that right? Um, so here we get courage in the face of cultural resistance. Moral and intellectual integrity sometimes requires standing against prevailing opinion. Or speaking truth about uncomfortable realities, especially when unpopular, is a sign of both moral conviction and intellectual strength. Right, it's certainly unpopular. This channel doesn't have very many views, and it doesn't really matter if it has any views. Well, the algorithm is pushing it down. So basically, you got the AI algorithm now, and it's basically reading my voice and then I say, "Oh, this guy is, we should certainly put this guy low on the totem pole." Is he actually breaking any of the rules? No, I don't think he is. So he can't actually destroy his channel. Right? The other channel that I did was completely way less politically friendly. Right? This is not very politically friendly, but they banned my other YouTube channel. So then whatever. So now I gotta be careful and everything like that. So we'll see how long this lasts, but I'm hoping that this channel will last 100 years, right? So then the previous generation, when if you are listening, when the year is 2025 right now, so if you're listening in the year 2125, you'll be like, wow, this guy had a terrible time, man. I feel bad for this guy. 100 years ago, I'm listening to a guy 100 years into the past having a terrible time. I hope he made out all right in life. This is you in 100 years, thinking about uh, my terrible situation here. All right, so let's read this one. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Okay, so this reminds me very, very much of Dr. Michelle Bell, right? She needs correction. So this much correction is certainly grievous. It's grievous. Why? Why is it so grievous? Because they have forsaken the way, right? Dr. Michelle Bell has certainly first forsaken the way, right? Does it necessarily mean does legality mean morality? Right, right. That they forsaken the way. Dr. Rachel has forsaken the way. Right. There's so many weird and questionable things that she does, but the most gruesome is the death. Right. Creating this system where has been brought in by Morgenthaler. Right. That is not the way. That is not the way of a just and civilized society. That is the way of a it's not even the jungle. Right? The jungle is so far more civilized than what this country has become, right? Giving Morgenthaler the Order of Canada, right? And then you have that Dr. Michelle Dow from coast to coast to coast on the national news talking about how great she is and all that stuff. And people are literally saying that I'm the bad one for talking, and I get all the facts. I'm laying out all the facts in a text, these screenshots. It's not just my opinion, man. These are facts, right? But listen, for example, is somebody that loves reproof, right? I love when somebody corrects me, right? I really do. I really do, right? Because if somebody takes the time out of their day to correct me, right? Like I'm taking the time out of my day to correct something very, very wrong. Right? Correction is so important. How important is correction, man? You know what? Correction is extremely well, it's correct, right? It's correct. Correction is correct. Why am I saying that? Because it's so important. But somebody that hates reproof, right? She'll die, right? So there's death here. It's not the way of life. It's the way of death, right? The way of failure and just absolute devastation and you know what other words can I say but death, right? Now, so die, right? Die is the correct word, right? That die, somebody that hates correction, right? I'm taking the time out of my day to correct this wrong, and it's like I'm the bad guy, right? I'm not the bad guy. I am not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy. The bad guy is the person that killed in excess of 1,000 babies. Where Dr. Michelle Down has literally killed in excess of 1,000 babies. What? I can't even believe I'm saying that, but this is a very important thing, a lesson in moral and intellectual behavior here. We're going to name the video this because this is a great thing to talk about. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you. Bye bye.